Wait, are you trans or are you non-binary? I get this a lot, and it's kind of like asking someone, are you Asian or are you Korean? Both? Let me explain. So, trans is an umbrella term to define someone who does not align with their assigned gender at birth. You are either cis, aligning with your assigned gender at birth, or trans, not aligning with your assigned gender at birth. But under the trans umbrella are two distinct categories, one being binary trans identities, or people moving between binary gender identities, like male to female and female to male trans people. And the other bucket is non-binary trans identities, which non-binary simply means to align with a gender identity outside of the male-female binary. And that could be outside, between, or completely removed from the binary. And that's because non-binary is also an umbrella term that holds a lot of different identities, like a gender, having no or neutral gender identity, bigender, resonating with two genders, gender fluid, resonating with different genders over time, and other identities like demi-girl, demi-boy, pangender, genderqueer, and much more. All non-binary people are trans by definition because they are aligning with a gender identity or even the lack of one that is different than what they were assigned at birth. And no, before you start, a physical transition has never been required for you to be trans. And this is partially because a lot of people mix up the terms gender and sex. Gender is one deep sense of identity. It's in your head. Even though it's assigned at birth, the only person who can define it is yourself because it's your own perception. And while you could argue that we've always been trans since birth, that's where the assigned gender component comes in defining transness. Sex is another label defined by physical anatomy and chromosomes, which may I remind you is also not a fixed binary, because natural variances also have always existed in intersex people. And as scientists can even tell you, both are absolutely still social constructs. Trans people are still trans before they transition if they can't access care or they don't want to, because being trans is on the inside. But yes, external aspects of gender affirming care can absolutely affirm these identities. And it is okay to make the distinction that trans people who don't look visibly trans or aren't seeking gender affirming care do face less harassment and violence, but it doesn't mean they're less or not trans. It just means they have privilege in that community. Now, it doesn't always make sense to use an umbrella term for yourself. Like in the example, if someone asked me what my racial background was and I just said Asian, that wouldn't be very helpful. And what they probably wanted me to say was that I'm half Korean. But in the context of gender identity, not everyone knows these terms, nor do you owe them an explanation every time. And sometimes using trans communicates that information faster than non-binary or a gender, technically all three of which I am. And while everyone is entitled to choose the language that defines them, I am a bit weary of non-binary people who do seek to separate themselves from the trans label, when trans people, specifically, are facing such an influx of legal attacks and violence right now. I feel it is our duty to use this privilege to stick up for the most marginalized in our community, and that certainly applies to every cis person watching this too. Hope you learned something new. Bye, friends.